It's Grace Redman. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Real Talk, where I get to have real life, raw conversations with incredible people from my circles and communities who have overcome challenges and created amazing. Today, my guest is an innovator. Dr. Michael Hutchison is a pioneer in neuromuscular and cosmetic dentistry with over 30 years of experience transforming lives through innovation. A relentless problem solver, he's redefined what's possible in dental care, venturing far beyond aesthetics to impact performance, protection, and overall health. One of only 125 dentists worldwide accredited by the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, Dr. Hutchinson is the inventor of NeuroGuard Plus, a revolutionary mouthguard designed to reduce concussion risk by up to 99.8%. That's amazing. And boost strength by 17% through advanced physiological jaw positioning. Originally an inspiring veterinarian, his path led him to dentistry and ultimately to challenging industry norms, overcoming resistance, and helping professional athletes stay at the top of their game. His story is a powerful example of innovation, perseverance, and purpose. Whether you're a healthcare provider, athlete, or performance enthusiast, Dr. Hutchinson's insights will leave you inspired. Dr. Hutchinson always inspires me, so help me welcome Dr. Hutchinson to the show today.
Thank you, Grace. That's very
You're
kind of you. Good to be
welcome.
here.
No, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be appreciated.
So many questions I have because again, I love how you're an innovator and you push the envelope. What I also love is how are you originally you're a veterinarian, like how did that happen? How did you go from being a veterinarian to becoming a dentist?
Well, that's a process. I wanted to go to veterinarian school, and that experience of trying to get in there and observing vet students, I decided that it, checking for artificial insemination on cows was not my cup of tea. So I decided, left a little discouraged, but my dad said, "Hey, you could go into dentistry. Um, dentists only work 3 days a week, and then they golf the rest." And I thought, "Wow, that's great."
Is that true,
Uh,
Dr.
no,
H?
that's not true. I've never worked 3 days a week. I worked 4 to 5,
Yeah.
and I played golf sparingly. So but it's been super rewarding, and I'm just so happy that I did that. And I've been able to really follow a great path in dentistry when dentistry really changed when I came out of dental school, and it was just innovative and lots of technology, and it was something that I was able to embrace. And here we are doing something that really changes the whole thing with mouthguard technology, and that's something that, I'm very proud of and excited about.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, when we connected, I was really like inspired and impressed. Not, well, because I have sons and they both played football. My oldest was the one that was, most involved in football, and it's scary seeing, your son out there just going head to head, with another grown man. And then when you told me that, it prevents 9.8% of concussions, that's like insane.
Yeah, it's something I didn't set out to do, but like you, my son, was really into sports, and in 5th grade, he wanted to play football, and I didn't know exactly about this technology back then, but I didn't want him to get hurt. Concussions seemed to be part of the game, and I just didn't want him to have to suffer. He wanted to grow up and be something special, and he really has. Um, he's going to be a pediatric uh, urologist,
Oh, wow.
saving babies that are
Amazing.
born with defects. And fortunately, he did not have a concussion in all the years from 5th grade to senior year in high school, playing football, playing two of the positions that are notorious for concussions, fullback and linebacker.
My
And
son too.
he never had a concussion. None of his teams, uh, from 8th grade to senior year, and I'm just so happy and fortunate that this technology came dropped out of the sky, and I was able to embrace it and move it forward.
Well, let's talk about that. Did it really drop out of the sky? Like, how did you come up with the NeuroGuard?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of facetious, but I was really using some new ideas about how to treat TMJ and just getting so much success. Even today, the modern way to treat TMJ is really antiquated. There's not a lot known about it, and people suffer from it. But it's just a matter of putting your jaw in your own physiologic jaw position that's unique to you. And when you do that, you solve the TMJ problem. And along with that came people were telling me they were stronger and they didn't get tired in the afternoon. I had women who said I couldn't lift up my Christmas stuff in the basement. I had to get somebody to help me do it, but now I can do it. And it just got me to think, well, gee, if this can make people stronger and have more stamina and energy, what would happen if I just changed the mouth guard a little bit for sports? And maybe the 0-9 Lions would end up in the Super Bowl, and I'd be a genius. So I just sort of was inspired to let's see what I can do with a sports
Mhm.
mouth guard, and there were some really monumental things that came along that just kept pushing it forward as a, a mechanism that was true to the body and really brought about this whole neural guard thing.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's kinda did fall out of the sky.
It
It
did
was
because I
intentional
did
start.
not set out to say, okay, I'm going to invent a new mouth guard. No, it was just, man, I'm helping these people. What would happen if I just took this technology and put it in sports, and it
Mm,
just flourished.
wow.
Everybody who wore it did not have concussions, and I have teams after teams. An NFL player who played 8 years free safety never had a concussion in the NFL. That's just insane. That's just unheard of.
No, it is. And, what you've also faced some pushback as well. So, even though the NeuroGuard is so amazing and you have the numbers, you've also received pushback. Can you talk to us about the pushback and, how do you overcome that not to get so you don't get discouraged?
Well, the first, I'm not going to say that I've not been discouraged, but I
You're
think it's
human, Dr. H.
um, my mom told me that I would always say as a kid, I want to know why your way is better than my way.
Mm,
And that's a pretty good description of me. And if I have something that I need to do or want to do, you just can't stop me. And yeah, there have been hurdles along the way. There have been societies that were uh, you know ingrained, and that's what they did, and that's their job. And when you go to change things, people don't like change, and so they fight back against that. And I'd say that the best advice I would give is to, believe if you have something, a true principle, believe in it. And
yes.
no matter what people say, they just don't know. So you had to keep
Mm,
going, and the true principle will come about. I think my favorite story in history is Urban the Fifth, Pope Urban the Fifth, who told Galileo that if he didn't stop teaching that the Earth orbited around the sun, that heresy, he would put him in jail. And Galileo died in jail because he knew that the Earth went around the sun, and just because the popes said it didn't,
mm,
did not change things. And now we know what the truth is. And so, you know,
mm.
I kind of believe in that no, if the world's against me, I know what I see and I know what I found out, and that the proof is in the pudding, and you wear this new technology, and it just positions your jaw away from your brain, and you get those results.
I love your conviction in what you're doing, and that's what it takes. I mean, because you're an entrepreneur, you're an innovator, and that's what it takes. It really does. Like, you have to have conviction in yourself and what you're doing, or who else is going to believe in you.
I absolutely. If you don't believe in yourself, you're walking down the wrong road. I
Yes.
tell you, just people have their own beliefs, and sometimes they're not substantiated, but that's what they believe, and so they're going to, contrary to what you believe, they're going to kind of go against you. And so the neat thing about it is that if you just keep going, the evidence just mounts up, and the things start to show, and then people who really care will change their mind. Some people who have invested their whole life in treating concussions, they kind of maybe don't want you to find the answer to preventing concussions, because then that takes away their livelihood if they don't have people to treat. So
It's so
I don't
true.
I don't find that to be any mom or dad out there, any mother. Concussions are tragic, and they really it can affect your whole life. I heard a statistic that it's going to cost you $100,000 one concussion in your lifetime, just one brain injury. And so we got to do something about it, because this concussion has not changed the numbers in decades, and we just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Well, you made a point. We keep doing the same thing over and over again because that's what the way it's been, and there's a lot of money tied to the way that we've been doing things for such a long time.
Absolutely, and there's some misunderstanding that people just can't see past it,
Right.
and so they just keep doing the same thing that everybody else does, and so
Mhm.
they feel the safety in that. But in reality, we're just continuing to perpetuate this epidemic of concussions, and it just keeps happening the same amount for years on end, and we don't solve it. We try to treat it, and we still don't even know how to do that. We don't know what really causes it. We have an idea, but for example, the big thing right now is sensors in a mouth guard, and that doesn't help you and me and my kids. That helps the researchers. I would
Mm.
hope that they would find out how much force it took, but they still got the concussion, right? And they're still, and the data that they got didn't really help the injured person. It helps the researchers, and so
Mm.
I just don't want to do that. I That's why I kind of went a different direction, and I felt like, well, hey, if they have to wear a mouth guard by rule anyway, have them wear this mouth guard and see what
Yeah.
happens. And we see that the concussion rate dropped down to 0.2%.
And that was amazing, when you shared that with me. The other thing I found fascinating, and if you can share with our audience, like you said, your performance was improved the performance of whoever wore it was improved by 17%. Like, how does our performance improve by wearing a mouth guard?
Yeah, that was the very first thing that kind of solidified my theory of these TMJ patients telling me that they felt stronger, and they felt not as much fatigue, and they could walk farther, they could run farther, they could, didn't feel like they needed to take a nap in the afternoon. And so that's the first thing I investigated, is strength increase.
Mm.
I didn't know the mechanism then. Since then, I've learned that the jaw seems to be one of the hubs of our nervous system, and the commands coming from our brain out to our muscles and our muscle fibers telling it what to do can be blocked by passing through a bite that's not correct. And so what we found out is that, let's say you have 100 muscle fibers, and each muscle fiber has a nerve ending to it, and then the brain says, "Do this," and 30% of it gets blocked. You're only working at 70%, as opposed to 100 if every muscle fiber contracted. So the average that was reported was 16.8% at Wayne State University, but that was an average of 40 football players. So some people, and the most I've ever seen was 62%
Wow.
increase in strength.
Wow.
And, people who have it, like, let's say a perfect bite, they don't get a lot of increase, but they still get a little bit. And, but they're balanced, because they already have a good bite. But you don't know if you do or not. That's the real kicker. You don't know if you do unless you actually manipulate your jaw into that physiologic jaw position. So that's
Fascinating.
well, that's what we started to find. What I started to find.
Friends, it's Grace Redman. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you here at Real Talk. If you've been inspired by what you're hearing and you're ready to take things to the next level, I would be honored to work with you. If you're a leader or entrepreneur ready to soar, I offer one on one coaching to help you create a business and life of freedom that you are excited to wake up to. And if you're craving something more intimate, I offer a personal VIP day that includes deep dive coaching, a nature walk, and an early dinner. I promise you will leave just feeling rejuvenated. If this speaks to you, please reach out and let's do this together. You can find me at www.graceredmond.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, that's what we started to find. What I started to find out, and then it was proven by a local guy here that was a power lifter, and he was on the USA team. He was 65 years old, and he won a national championship. And that was a big story in town because he was the police chief and the fire chief. And the cool thing was is that he said, "I want to break the world record," which was 4:35, and he was going to Prague to represent the United States. So I called him up uh, just out of the white pages, and I said, "Ralph, I can get you your world record tonight." And that was like sheer faith on my part because I'd never proven it, never tried it. I just knew that it worked from working with TMJ patients. And long story short, he came over. I made him a mouth appliance. He went and lifted 455 pounds. He was afraid he was going to get hurt. He stopped and said, I could do more. I know I could do more. And he went on to Prague and lifted 455 pounds, broke the world record, and held it for 10 years. So
Wow.
I knew right then that I discovered a mechanism that was not known, and that just spurred me on to really know exactly what was going on. And the concussions kind of came as I was testing strength.
And I love how you just pulled out, the white pages and called him and said, and you just had like, again, like you had that conviction, you knew. How did it feel when he kept when he won the competition and he kept winning and he kept getting stronger and the weight kept going up?
Well, I have to say that being a neuromuscular cosmetic dentist, I was pretty confident in what I knew I was talking about because I saw a picture of him and I saw how bad his teeth were. And I just knew that he had a problem he didn't know about. And so I felt pretty confident that this was going to happen. But yeah, from that point, I just started to network with as many people as I could. I got hooked up with the St. Louis Blues hockey team. There were seven players. One of them was Keith Kachuk, and he was the number two NHL player in the NHL. And they had phenomenal season that year, and none of them had a concussion. And again, then Wayne State wanted to test it, and they got their football players. And anecdotally, that football team wore NeuroGuard Plus, and they went to the D2 national championship game, the
Nice.
winningest record in the history of the school, and nobody had a concussion that year. But they were all stronger. I tested their strength, and uh, they were all stronger. And then Wayne State did an actual study and published it internationally and showed a 16.8% increase in strength. And also, interesting about that is um, what you brought up as people were kind of pushing back against me. They also tested Shock Doctor, which still is the number one mouth guard out there. Of course, it's on the upper jaw, not the lower, where it should be. And they actually were worse in strength of all four
Really?
tested, including no mouth guard. And that made them very angry. And some lawyers contacted me and told
Uh,
me that, I should stop saying that, and I said, "Well, I'm sorry that you lost, but you should go talk to Wayne State because they're the ones that did the study. I just gave them my mouth
wow,
guard," you know?
wow.
And so, uh, that was that. Never heard from him again, but it started to push against, the mainstream
Mm.
and ruffled some feathers there.
But that's a good thing I'm learning, Dr. H, is when we push against, mainstream or what's been, the way we've been doing things, that's what we need to do because that's innovation, that's visionary. 'Cause sometimes
Absolutely.
doing things isn't the right way to do it anymore.
Yeah, I can say that, testify of that as well, just in my own profession in dentistry. When I first started in 1983, that was still that was the dawn of modern dentistry. That was still, doing dentistry as they did it in the 1960s and, uh, amalgam restorations and all the old things that gold gold crowns and all the old techniques, and, just there was a turning point in about 1985 where materials were able to be improved, and we were able to get out of that old metal, old mindset of, Doctor God complex where he said, "You sit down, shut up, and I'm taking your tooth out," you know? Uh, "Don't question it because 'cause I'm the doctor, you're the patient." The whole thing about dentistry improved to, for the better, and I
Amazing.
think that's probably why, 13, 14 years later in year 2000 when I started doing this, uh, that was the growing of that dawn of new modern technology. Computers were better. We
Mm.
learned how to treat TMJ better, just because we could analyze it better, and because of that, I learned about physiologic jaw position.
I mean, so many, amazing, changes that just kind of seemed like they just happened, like you said, it fell from the sky, even in dentistry back, in the 80s, and then as you said, it kept evolving, and now it's evolving even more. I have a question because AI is like the big, term right now. How is AI going to help dentistry evolve?
Well, it's really getting more and more into the dental, profession. I'm using AI to, analyze things. I use it to help, explain things better. Um, right now, there's a new technology that's just came out that, e helps us analyze X-rays better. X-radiation is like a shadow on a wall. And it literally is like that. If you shoot it straight on, you get an image. If you shoot it at a different angle, you get an enlarged image or a different image, or maybe you don't see what you need to see because things get overlapped. And they're using technology now with AI to analyze an X-ray
Mm,
to show you where the decay is,
mm,
and then you can use that to add it to the analysis that you're doing, and now you can find it better and you can find it sooner. If you wait long enough, you're gonna find decay, but you wanna find it when it's maybe just starting, because there's a lot of prevention that you can do. And so this technology is fantastic, and I've just started using it within the last month. It analyzes every X-ray and tells you where all the defects are, and then you can search uh, more completely in that situation and really prevent disasters that you
mm.
can't really tell until later. So uh, it's kind of cool, but also looking at everything that's coming out. My sister sent me a picture of my father, who is about 2 years old, and he was sitting by a riverbed in southern Idaho, and he had a rock in his hand, and then she had it rendered AI for like 15 seconds, and he puts the rock down, stands up, and walks off. And I'm like, pretty soon, nothing's gonna be real.
I
You
know.
know?
That's so there's yes, I know. That's something that's I don't wanna say the word that's a little bit, scary to think of, okay, it can create I have some colleagues who, are in my industry in coaching and speaking, and they've created an avatar, and if their clients have a question, they go speak to the avatar and they think it's them, like it's and I'm like, "Wait, that's bizarre."
Right. I'm working on some website redesign, and these people that were showing me, they were showing me how you can generate the kind of picture of the kind of dentistry that you can do, like how you can just make a beautiful person. And it's not real. It's just a person. It looks like if I took a photograph of you, but it's not real. You can say, I want this kind of teeth, and I want this kind of nose, and this kind of hairdo, and whatever. And
We're getting
then
messed up, we're gonna be so messed up, we're gonna have some ridiculous expectations.
well, the thing is if if I if I promote that, I better be able to deliver.
Right,
You
right,
know, the beautiful smile that I show you, I better be able to do it.
that's right.
And so, but it's one thing about it is that one advantage is that you don't have to get that person, that avatar's permission to
Mhm.
show their face.
Okay,
And
okay.
it's cheap. And it's
Oh,
cheap, right?
yeah,
You have to pay that person.
that's right. That's right. You're
So
you have so many pros and cons.
I suppose there's some good in there that you could
Yes,
do for people,
for
but
sure,
it gets kind of scary that,
for sure.
you're just gonna not trust anything. But it was very cute to see my dad as a 2-year-old.
Aw. Well, when you say go back to not trust anything, I think that's where we come back to, humanity and integrity and, being better and doing better as a society and as a people. Because if, we have this technology that could, potentially be out of integrity, then as human beings, we really need to step up.
Absolutely, and I think that's the important thing is that, um, integrity, at least to me, is everything. It just,
Yes,
if I'm not full of integrity, then my discovery doesn't mean much. And
yes,
so, um, but I'm excited that things are really just kind of, after COVID, it's just starting to swell, and I'm seeing a trend going more towards this technology, which I think we're gonna, if we can pull this off, we can drop the concussion rate down from 10,000, over 10,000 a day, to a
wow.
couple hundred,
I I I
couple of
believe
hundred.
I believe that. I believe that. And I know it hasn't been, an easy journey. It has been a long journey. As you said, this journey started in the year 2000. So, this has been a few decades. Has there ever been a time where you felt like just giving up on the near
Many
guard?
times,
Mhm.
many times, and one time in particular, I think I'm holding out hope that I've been asked to speak at the Texas High School Coaches Association after about 15 years. It's not etched in stone yet, but I went down there once to early on to show what I was doing, and they were all excited, and they said, "Oh, we have to help these kids, and we're all about helping our kids be safer." And they give me this whole spiel, and then uh, I said, "Well, when can I speak? Why don't you have me come and talk to everybody about it?" And they go, "Well, that'll cost you $10,000." And
Cost
I
you
go,
$10,000. Usually they pay you to speak.
I said, "What are you talking about? You said you wanted to help kids, but you'll only help them if I pay you $10,000. You paid Nick Saban, I don't even know how much, to come here and write X's and O's. I'm a doctor. Pay me. I'm a
I
doctor."
love you, Dr.
You
H.
know? And I just like, "Oh, man, am I ever gonna get over this barrier?" I guess they don't get it. I really don't care about their kids. They say they do, but they
Mm,
don't. Otherwise, because I wasn't asking for any money. I would pay. I said, I'll pay for it. I'll fly down there. I'll pay my own hotel. Just get me in front of these people because if we do, then we're going to save thousands of kids. We're going to save them.
yeah.
Right now, you got to pay. It's like, okay. So, yeah, it's this roller coaster because then I have these really great things that happen. And just got found out this week there's a company with 80 hockey stores and they're committed. They want them in their
Fantastic.
store. And,
Fantastic.
now I'm charged up. But then,
Yes.
things like that, the high school association, they're like, yeah, this is a good idea, but we're not going to do it. Like, what do I got to do?
Yeah, and I don't get it. And again, I can understand how you might get frustrated, but it sounds like you keep, when you have, evidence of like of a no, then you have the evidence of a yes, which I believe, even in my business, I was talking to someone the other day and she goes, "Oh, I can't take the no's." I'm like, I have no problem with the no's because as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you're gonna get no's all day long.
Absolutely, and a lot of times it's a selfish reason, not on my part, but it's like, uh-oh, this guy's got something good, and I don't want that to get in my way, right? So they say it doesn't work, or
Mm.
I've met a lot of trainers, I've met a lot of people that had lots of politics,
Yeah, both
the
sides of it.
little social politics where
Mm.
they don't want to do it because it's just gonna um, some team doctors think I'm gonna try to take their job away. Why would I want Seattle Mariners job? I live in Michigan.
Right,
All I
right.
want to do is help people,
Yes,
you
and
know? I don't want your job.
yeah, I mean, so many different layers here that we're talking about, it's like, pushing the envelope. We've been doing things the same way for so long. Politics, the red tape. And I love like you just haven't let that stop you. And I want
Y
that to resonate with whoever's watching because again, when you are an innovator, when you are a visionary, you're going to get pushback, period. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, not yet. Well, because I'm pretty locked into the success of the science. It's never let me down.
Yeah.
Every time it's been tested, it always comes out victorious. I know it's a true body mechanism. It's been tested. Anybody can test it, and they find out that it's a true principle. In fact, the woman who did the first Wayne State study, now that was strength back in 2009. Just contacted me, and she wants to do a concussion study now uh, to show how physiologic jaw position lowers the chance of a concussion.
Mm.
And that's just a doctor who she just saw what it did back in 2009, and she said, "We got to get this. We got to get some people behind this." And so these are things that just get you supercharged. That people are starting to accept it. Whereas at first, I was a lone person, just just being rejected everywhere I went because this is not, mouth guards don't. I had a guy tell me once, you know, the evidence is overwhelming that mouth guards do not prevent concussions. And I said to him, I said, "You're absolutely right. And you're absolutely wrong
Could be
because
both.
the mouth guard you're talking about does not prevent concussions. It makes it worse.
Mm.
And this is why we keep having them for 60 years. This is why we're using a, a, a device that was invented in 1950 and now it's 2025 and
Right.
we're still using it. And that's
Right?
why.
Oh
But
my god,
we
there's
just can't.
so much innovation and it's like I'm like I don't understand it. Like I'm having a hard time. Like let's go with this.
Yeah. So I told somebody once, if I was living in 1830, if I wanted to go to Detroit, I'd have to get on my horse and take 2 weeks to get down there. And would I do that now?
No.
No. If I had to get down there today, I'd get on an airplane.
Right.
Why would I get on a horse? But you are taking your mouth guard at a horse and putting it in your mouth and expecting to be some magical thing. And it just does the same thing that there was ever invented for. And that was to keep you from breaking your teeth. Had nothing to do with concussions, you know. So yeah. But that's I think anything that you do of any significance is going to be difficult and not easy. And I think maybe part of it was I did a missionary service for my church when I was 19 over in Italy,
Mhm.
and speaking to Catholics about a different kind of way to think about things was absolutely failure for 2 years, really. And you just had to be strong, and you just had to know that, and humble. You just had to know that you're doing the right thing, and someday it will come about. And this is the same thing with this. I'm
Yes.
trying to change mouthguard religion,
Mm.
and people can't seem to put their arms around it.
And I love that you are persevering and you're not giving up. And you've had, athletes in playing the Super Bowl, wearing your mouth guard. You have so many professional athletes, many teams. So there's all that incredible evidence. What did it feel like to you the first time that, they wore your mouth guard in the Super Bowl? Like, what did that feel like?
Well, that was I don't even know how I can describe that.
Mm,
It's sort of a thing that just kind of quickly evolved. Something that I really wanted to have happen. Uh, the problem is that there wasn't much notoriety with it. My my brother, this player, he was in 2 Super Bowls, for the Kansas City Chiefs. He played for, BYU, and his wife was my brother's kid's babysitter, and so when he graduated, he didn't get drafted. The Chiefs just said, "Come and try out for our practice team." My brother
yeah.
said, "Here, take this mouth guard. My brother invented it. You're gonna love it." And, he just embraced it and started wearing it, and he went so fast from, non-drafted practice player to starting. It took him about a year and a half, and then he was just one of the integral parts of the team, and for 8 years, 2 Super Bowls, and there's actually a clip I have where he saved the team from being knocked out of the Super Bowl in one hit at the goal line with 2 minutes left, and the guy fumbled out of bounds, and it was a touchback, so which means that he didn't score, but that guy got a concussion, and Daniels jumped back up and went and finished the game, no
Wow.
concussion, and he told me he feels invincible with
Mm,
his mouth appliance, and, uh, it was just something that was it turned me from a Bears fan to a Chiefs fan, I'll tell you that. But, I mean, it was just like, yeah, this guy is telling everybody
mm,
that about this true principle, and I couldn't have done it a better way.
mm,
Uh, but he was not an outgoing person. He was rather shy, and he didn't do any endorsements. He didn't wanna do anything like that, so I couldn't get the full, maximum impression from that, but still, knowing that a person that I made an appliance for went 8 years without a concussion, uh, that's gonna come back to be a really strong thing.
yes. No, I think what you're doing is amazing. I love your resilience and your persistence. I love how the synchronicities in the universe unfolds. And I know that a De Guard is absolutely going to be mainstream very soon. I have no doubt.
Well,
No
thank you. I really appreciate that because it really needs to. Every time I hear about a concussion or I see on the feed of Instagram, there's concussion societies, and they just talk about how much they struggle, and I feel sorry and empathy for those people. They just don't know, and this is why I spend a lot of time talking to people I'm so grateful that you had me come and speak with you because you have many, many people that I could never get to let them know that their child can be concussion free. Almost 0.2% is almost zero.
Yes.
But there isn't a reason to not use this technology. Every athlete from cheerleader to football player to soccer to lacrosse, horseback riding, bicycling, they need this technology. They need it, and they must have it. And I just hope that more and more people from this time and everyone else that we speak with can understand that and that they need to get that in their kids.
Yes, and I am so, I'm honored to have you on here because I think you're amazing, and not only are you gonna be successful because you have this incredible technology, it's because you're an amazing, amazing human being. It's just been a pleasure to get to know you and just your energy and your light, and that's how it works. That's how it works. It's a
Well, that's what my mother told me. I was amazing, so I got to believe her. But well,
and believe
that's
me
kind.
too.
I just want to do good. I just want
And
I
you
just
are.
want people to be safe.
And you are, you're
Yeah.
doing amazing, and, like, you inspire me like I said, every time with your conviction and your, tenacity, so thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. We're looking forward to following your journey, and please, for those who are watching and listening, can you let them know, where they can find you and where they can get the NeuroGuard?
They can go to neuroguardplus.com, and if you use the code NG10, you can get a 10% discount. Neuroguardplus.com, and that got all kinds of information. You can get a hold of me there as well. And please go there and really help your kids. I can't say that enough. Your kids need it. They love to play sports and they don't need a concussion.
Yes, as a mom of 2 boys who has experienced that. We'll also share all of your information here with our audience as always, thank you so much for joining us, and if you have questions, please, put it in the chat, reach out to us. I or Dr. Hutchinson, one of us will get back to you. Thank you so much for being here with me, Dr. Hutchinson. I really appreciate you, and for those who are watching and listening, please like, subscribe, and share so we can continue to bring you incredible guests like Dr. Michael Hutchinson. Dr. Hutchinson, stay with me and wishing you all an incredible rest of the day. See you
Thank
soon.
you. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, love. Thank you so much for listening today. I am so grateful for you. I'd like to show you my appreciation by gifting you a free forgiveness self-hypnosis audio download. Part of living the fun and fabulous life is practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness can be such a long and challenging process. My intention is that this forgiveness audio will help you in practicing forgiveness, especially with yourself. Grab it by visiting daretoachieve.com/forgiveness. For more inspiring tips, make sure to connect with me on social media. Drop me a line on Facebook or Instagram at Grace Redman Dare to Achieve. Until next time, keep moving forward towards living your fabulous life.